What's going on, y'all? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of the show. I'm so excited to be here for another great week. I am late. I'm an hour late. I said I'd be 30 minutes late, but I'm an hour late, and it's all good. I guess this is my show, but still punctuality is something that I want to work on. But y'all know the drill. Go ahead and get in there in the comments. Let me know where you all are from, and let's get the stream going. Sancho, what's going on? How you doing? I got it in the sky. Say the changes, make sure we're good. Okay. Stephanie, I appreciate you. Jennifer, I appreciate you. Minneapolis in the house. Arizona in the house. Long Island. Let me move the screen here so I can see where people are checking in from. Arkansas, Tampa, Louisville, Kentucky, Chicago, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Florida, Alaska, Texas, Connecticut. Okay, I get excited seeing people from all over the world. Mississippi, Detroit, West Virginia, East Tennessee. Let's get in there. Let's get in there. You all know what's going on. We're live streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Shout out to Twitter. Twitter is the only platform that won't verify me. I don't like that whole verification process. You have to prove to them how famous you are and how many articles you've been in or whatever. But hopefully Twitter, we can get that blue check soon so we can continue to post content out there. Promote mental health awareness. We're making it fun and we're making it relatable. So hopefully Twitter, if you're all watching, let me know what's up. Texas, Ontario, Canada, Pittsburgh, Appalachian Mountains, New York, St. Louis, California. Okay, so we have some California people here. Mandy, yes, we're going to talk about that. Maine says it's expensive to get mental health care. It is, and that's what that leads me into tonight's topic. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, this is my show here on Facebook. I'm just gonna call it my show on Facebook and Friends. Friends being YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. And it's called Late Night with Dr. Kojo. I just thought of it. I said I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna allow myself to be accountable and to do something consistently. So we go live Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And we talk about different topics. Obviously my community is a big ADHD community. And me having ADHD myself, I love just the feedback going on Facebook and reading some of these comments. And Tamara saying that we made some TikTok. Yes, I've got to go live on TikTok a little bit more. The issue with TikTok, let me just talk about that for a second. The issue with TikTok is that for some reason I can't figure out it's hard connecting with my OGs on TikTok. On Facebook, the people who have been joining these live streams, I can pick up on their names, like Destiny, Josh. I remember stuff. And on TikTok has been hard to. I don't know if my lives aren't being pushed out to people and they're just getting the videos or vice versa. I don't know what's going on, but I definitely want to get back to pushing the message on TikTok. TikTok is my biggest platform. I wouldn't be here without TikTok. So a lot of love for my TikTok community. So I think we have. They would need a little dance. But this is my show where it's my show, so I get to make up the topics. And like I said, we have a big ADHD community on here, and I always find a way to tie things back to ADHD, and not to make it like a woe is me thing, but also just to be like, all right, I have this thing. This is just we're gonna make life fun with it, and we're gonna make life enjoyable and make it something that is worth living. And I have a good time doing that. And for tonight's topic, I want to talk about mental health in minority communities, specifically the Black community. Brandy, thank you so much for sharing the live. If you all are on, especially my people on Facebook, go ahead and share the live. It might pop up on somebody's feed who is just they might just be scrolling on Facebook and they want to take a break from prank videos or relationship debate videos or twerking videos. Maybe they want to watch some of my content. So share it and try and infiltrate their timeline. And hopefully, we can get this on their page. Also, if you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitch or Twitter, we have to figure out how to share. So share if you would like to. But I would appreciate that. But yes, today's topic I want to talk about mental health for minorities, right? And I mean, for me, one criticism that people have, well, I don't know if everybody, but a couple of close friends, because I told my people as I'm on this social media journey, regardless of how many followers I get, whether it's half a million or a million or now it's like 2.5 million followers online. I told them, regardless of however big I get, tell me the things that I need to hear and the things that I can improve on. So one thing that I've heard as a criticism and something that I want to talk more about is minority mental health, right? Mental health for Black people, people that look like me, and also for people in underserved communities. This goes for Hispanics, and I mean technically white people can fall in that category too. And my content is for everybody. I don't want it to be just for Black people or Hispanics. Like I want everybody to gravitate towards my content, and I do my best to present it in that way. But Black History Month is coming up, and this is a great time to talk about mental health for people of color. And I was also inspired by the tragic news coming out of New York yesterday. They said that the former Miss USA, I think she won 3 years ago, Chesley. I said Chelsea earlier on my video. I do apologize for that. Chesley, Chris or so, passed away, died by suicide. And everybody was like, I mean, I looked at it, I was, obviously devastated, scrolled through her social media a little bit. She was like me, she was on Instagram, TikTok, had a lot of followers, verified, right? So that means that we're famous or whatever, right? So it looked like her life was like really good on the outside. And then, on the inside, I mean, nobody knows what she was going through. She was Miss USA winner. She was also an attorney. Not to say that she can't have any struggles, but when I think of like suicide, I think of it as like a preventable thing. Like it's something that we can prevent. But when you look at mental health compared to physical health, like everything is getting worse, like way worse. Suicide rate going up, anxiety going up, depression going up. Frustration, stress, everything is going up when it comes to like physical health. We're making progress, advancements. We're able to fund all this research, and you have the best doctors and the best nurses working on all these complex diseases. But when it comes to mental health, like we're behind. And even when it comes to the Black community, we're way further behind. And the point of the video that I made today is to figure out how we can, get the conversation moving forward. And of course, I'll get to the comments in a second. But I'm looking, to my left on the screen, and someone says, "Please touch on how to find Black doctors and therapists." And that's something that like I myself like, when I'm helping friends look for therapists, or doctors, I didn't know what you all were talking about. I'm not gonna lie, like the 200 of y'all watching right now, I didn't know what you all were talking about until like I had friends and family members and try to look for doctors for them, and I couldn't find people that look like us. It's quite frustrating, and we're so behind in our community. And I think the simplest thing that we can do is to just talk about it. So my criticism of myself, which a couple of my friends have told me, is that Kojo, you don't talk about mental health for minorities enough, right? And for me, in my defense, I thought that, I'm a Black guy out here talking about mental health. I already don't like fit the profile of what people expect, and somehow they allow me to get in this space and build up this huge brand. But I don't fit the bill of like what you expect like a mental health professional to look like. But I thought that was good. I'm like, okay, I'm a Black guy talking about this, so hopefully a lot of Black people will gravitate towards it. But people have gravitated towards it, but I feel like there's something missing. I don't know what's going on, but there's something missing. There's a disconnect there. And Tiffany Hall says therapy for Black girls, change filter in psychology today. Ask your provider or insurance for a BIPOC provider. We're out there. Let me read that one more time. So Tiffany Hall says therapy for Black girls, Change filter in psychology today. Ask your provider or insurance for a BIPOC provider where you're out there. So Tiffany, I believe that there are Black professionals out there, but I don't know how to get like collectively. How can we get like loud, like get really really loud? Somebody saying, can we talk about what mental disorders or illnesses the minorities most commonly have? So I'm not able to sit here and say, oh, Black people have ADHD more, white people have no, but a couple things are clear. Like I know that Black people or Black men specifically are more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia as opposed to their white counterparts that might be diagnosed with a mood disorder, right? So if I go to the ER and I'm swinging, I'm fighting, I'm tussling or whatever, I'm more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. Whereas you take a white guy who is just like me, right? 6'3", 210 pounds. Let's say it's a white guy who looks just like me, right? He goes to the ER. He's more likely to be diagnosed with a mood disorder as opposed to a thought disorder or a psychotic disorder like schizophrenia, because Black people are seen to be more aggressive. So that's why we need more Black therapists. We need more Black doctors. We need more Black professionals. And Brianna, I appreciate your comment, Brianna Wars. I appreciate that. And it's important to talk about it. So as I say, we need to talk about minority mental health. Yes, we need to post like more resources for how people can get access to Black providers. But on top of that, like we need even more. Like I feel like we need to incentivize providers, Black therapists, Black psychiatrists, Black doctors, Black nurse practitioners, Black counselors. We need to incentivize them to see more people, and I'm talking about money, and everybody, when it's time to talk about money, people don't want to talk about money. But like giving them money, give them like they have to name their price. Give them a couple of bands, more than a couple of bands. Give them money and say, hey, we want you to start serving the greater Atlanta area. We want you to start serving the greater Charlotte area, Los Angeles, San Diego, New York City, Kansas City. I don't like the Chiefs, but Kansas City, everybody deserves mental health awareness. You get the point, so we definitely need, and I think people are saying, so all right, I don't know what's going on in the comments, but I don't want this to turn into like a hate thing, and when you talk about race, it gets difficult where people are like, oh, this, that. Mental health awareness is for everybody. So by me promoting mental health awareness for Black people, I'm saying that mental health awareness is for everybody, right? If I have a white lady, DM me saying that she needs help for her, well, I can't reply to DMs legally, but let's say I have a patient, a white lady, she needs help for her son, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to leave it on the table. I'm going to go all out for that white lady the same way I would if my patient was a young Black male. Like I'm going to go all out for everybody, regardless of the color, So I don't care if that person is known to be a racist, right? Like when I put on my, my little doctor hat or whatever, I don't really care what the person is. Like my job is, I just have to do my job. I just have to talk to you, help you out. You might hate Black people, but like that's my job. I gotta do my job. So the comments. Let's keep the comments positive because it's been positive so far. I'm having fun doing this. So let's keep the comments positive. But there's a problem in our community, and I know it's a problem because growing up, I grew up in a very religious household. So when the topic of suicide would come up, I honestly thought, like when I would hear that somebody took their own life, I'm like, oh no, they're not gonna go to heaven. I feel bad for them. That was my first thought, and it wasn't until, I became a professional and I got a better understanding of psychopathology and things like that, that I was like, oh, wow, it's not really as simple as that, whereas coming from a religious Black household, I was like, oh no, that person, they took their life. Like, I feel bad for them. But it was never more so of like trying to understand like their pain, like why they got to that point. And it's something that we got to talk about because even look in the pandemic, the people being hospitalized for suicidal ideation is going up. That doesn't mean that they want to like end it all, but it means that they have that thought and they've given thought to how they would go about it. So it's important to talk about it, and you don't want to wait until things like this happen, right? Normally people wait like this for things like this to happen. And even myself, I'm not gonna lie, like if that happened yesterday, with the Miss USA lady, Miss Chris, the topic of today's show might have been something different, right? So I think all of us collectively we can do a bit of a better job, right? And it's me calling myself out. Like I know that I could do a better job and of promoting mental health awareness for minorities, for Black people, and it starts with us. But at the same time, what I'm saying is like as a provider, you need like I'm not even a politics person, but the government has to hop in somehow and start to incentivize providers, because even now, like I don't take any more patients outside Virginia, like, and I'm only seeing patients 2.5 days out of the week, and I want to see everybody. Like I'm looking through everybody's the comments here, and I would love to see everybody, but in my head, I had wanted to get like a team of providers, and we can start to see patients in different states. But I didn't realize I had so many followers, and I'm like, oh boy, this thing like I can't see all these people. So now it's like me referring people out to all my friends, who have practices. Like, hey, I got a patient for you. I got 3 patients for you. I have blah, blah, blah. I got all these different patients for you. But one issue that I was facing when I was like accepting new patients was, the insurance thing. And when you take insurance, people don't understand if you're a mental health professional and you take insurance. Insurance is going to dictate uh, how you should practice. I don't want you telling me how I should practice. Like I don't even want like even like my housekeeper. She asked me if she can move this candle from here to there. Like like I like to be in control of things. So I don't want insurance companies telling me we're gonna pay this for this patient or blah blah blah. Like it's too much. So that's why I didn't want to work with insurance, right? But then it's like me charging the prices that I charge and I don't take insurance. Like, could the younger version of me have seen me as a provider? Does that make sense? Did I lose y'all? Or could the younger version of me have seen me as a provider? And the answer is no. Like, my parents didn't have them. We have insurance anyway, but we wouldn't have had money to see 30-year-old me, helping out patients because we didn't have the money. So you really can't reach that target demographic unless, you want to stay out here in Hollywood and only like see celebrities or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like in terms of seeing like regular everyday people, like that's like, how I came up. It's really, really tough, tough to do that, so it's like even the providers, you and I believe that there's Black providers out there that want to reach the community, but they're burnt out. Trust me, they're burnt out. And even for me, like me doing social media now, it got to a point where December 2020, when I quit my job and moved out to LA, like I was getting burnt out. I was seeing patients like all the time. I didn't have time to even play basketball or kick it. I gave up my relationship so I could do social media, like true shit, Not to say that I just blew off my ex, but like I prioritized social media. Like that became like my love, along with seeing patients and helping out patients. So I got to the point where I was burnt out and I'm like, Mickey, figure there's only so much that one guy can do. I can't do it all. I cannot do it all. But we can collectively come together. And that's why I like social media, like something like this, where you're on Facebook and all these different platforms and maybe 180 people are watching. And even if this is not the most popular topic, somebody's watching this. Kenya, I appreciate the comment. And give me just 5 more minutes, y'all. I'll get to the questions. And if you are new to the show, keep in mind that I start the show off with asking people where they're from. We get into it, we get hyped up. I go on my little rant, and then I'm going to open the floor and I'll answer questions. I'll start off by answering questions about the topic, and after that, I'll take your questions about ADHD and autism. I don't mind answering those questions. I'll definitely get to those questions. But when it comes to this issue, it's difficult because on social media you have to like have the biggest platform to be the loudest, right? And I do have a large platform, but at the same time, you worry about can I reach my target audience, right? Like something tragic happened yesterday, so I'm like, how can we talk about like suicide in the Black community, right? And you talk about it or you post it, the post doesn't go anywhere. I'm like, damn, like who do I need to partner up with? Do I need to find the Migos? I don't know. Like I don't know. Like how do we make this type of thing cool? And I think that the work that I'm doing now, and sometimes even by not like just making a dancing video or like a little rapping video or whatever, I think that helps to promote mental health awareness for minorities because I'm there, I'm just dancing and do my thing, and people are having a good time. It's bringing joy to people. But in terms of tangible ways, because the videos are great, right? The videos are great. I love putting these videos out there, and I can reach people in Duluth, Minnesota, or Amsterdam, New York. It's awesome. But in terms of getting like people to actual help, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like somebody who's like DMing, and I can't reply to the DMs, but somebody who sends like a message or emails me thinking that I'm seeing patients and they're like, oh, I need help for my son or whatever. We live in this. Like, how do you help that person? Does that make sense? That person in that underserved community, with parents who are struggling to pay the bills. And I know because like I grew up on Section 8 housing, food stamps. We're living in Nashville, Tennessee. We were happy though. I was one happy ass kid. Like I didn't know that we were poor until like I saw other kids were like living like in bigger houses. I thought everybody lived in their projects. So I was like, oh, y'all have like your own house, like with a yard. I didn't get it. But it's still you still want people who don't have the access to get the access. And Mary Lou was saying therapy is so expensive. Yeah, therapy is expensive. Like, and it's something that I thought about doing. I thought about therapy when I was maybe in my early 20s, but I was like, why would I pay a therapist? This is lit. I kid you not. This is how I thought. This is probably selfish of me, but I thought to myself, why would I pay a therapist $100 an hour with money that I don't have when I could just talk to my girlfriend? Like I thought that way. Like and that's not good thinking, But like I really thought I'll just talk to my girl and see if she gets it. We can go to Chick-fil-A and get a number one meal, and both of us can get number one meals, with the large fries and the large lemonade, and we can get a milkshake. The whole thing will end up. Well, Chick-fil-A is expensive, but the whole thing ended up being like $30 versus seeing a therapist for 1 hour because it's so expensive. Like I had to. Like I really didn't budget for a therapist until like I made six figures, which doesn't make any sense. I don't think you should, if you can make the money, if you can put the money aside, you might not should wait that long. But it never really crossed my mind until the pandemic hit, So I think it's important to talk about it, and I'm going to be looking for, interesting ways to make it, like fun, for the youth. I'm always, tapping into my bag, possibly dropping like another freestyle or another music video or something like that. So I'm always thinking about ways to make it fun, but I think it's time to collectively start talking about mental health in the Black community. And, like somebody said earlier, like there are Black therapists out there who want to help, but it's difficult to first find them, right? And then, how can that when Black therapists compete with other therapists of color? Not to say it should be competition, but how are they going to get the clientele up? Because there's Black people out there looking for people that look like them. For me, when I got a therapist in Virginia, it was like an older white lady, and I picked her because she was much older. I think she was like 70, but I picked her because I didn't want to have I didn't want to have a therapist who was like young, because if my therapist was like from social media, I was thinking that I didn't want a therapist who's like a fan of me. Like I wanted somebody who like had no idea who I was, so I could just like be a patient. So I picked like a super old, white lady, and it was helpful. But some people want therapists that look like them, and I don't know, and it's something that like I know within my community, it's something that we have to talk about. And the most linear path to doing anything is just talking about it. Literally, if you had an experience, in your personal color, just going online and talking about it. I know SZA, the artist, she posted a tweet on Twitter talking about adult ADHD, and she was saying Nobody talks about how frustrating adult ADHD is. And I thought that was neat for her to be vulnerable and transparent. And as you all know, if you're all part of my community out here, we talk about ADHD, almost every single day. We talk about how frustrating it is to live with ADHD, how people don't understand it, how you have to explain it to other people, and that takes energy out of you. So SZA talking, just that tweet itself was a good starting point, so I think that can be helpful. And Renee said, shockingly, the best therapist I had was an older white man. And I'm actually happy that Renee said that, because for me, like when I picked a therapist, like I was worried that I had 400,000 followers on TikTok. So I just wanted like somebody who didn't know who I was. I wasn't thinking about race. I was just looking for the oldest therapist. I was going to select that person. It happened to be an older white lady. But I think in our community as Black people, we should open ourselves up to maybe your doctor or therapist, maybe being somebody that does not look like you, because we don't have enough Black therapists at the moment. And if you specifically want a Black therapist, nothing wrong with that, if you want a Hispanic therapist, nothing wrong with that. But I think we should, open ourselves up to, whatever providers are out there, and also talking about it. And at least on my side, to be transparent and vulnerable for you all. I how do I say? So, I do social media full time. I still see patients part time, but primarily, what I'm here in Los Angeles for one reason. I came here to do social media, to do entertainment, to work with these brands, to work with companies, so to get on TV. I want, we have this documentary coming out on Oprah's network that I'll be featured in a couple of weeks. That's fantastic. That's what I came here to LA to do. So that's what I want to do, and I want to push the envelope, and I want to help move things forward, But when it comes to, I looked at last December, actually a couple months ago. I looked at brand deals and companies that I've worked with and things like that, and we tallied up all the money that we made from social media and brand deals, and I was happy just looking through it, because you have to know your numbers. And I noticed one thing in there. I noticed that all these brands paid me all this money to talk about mental health and to eliminate the stigma, all this great stuff. I realized that none of those brands were like Black brands or African American brands. Like, I'm not hearing from the NAACP. I'm not hearing from Black organizations. And I would probably do a collaboration for free. Damn it! Like, I just want to talk about the topic more, but I'm not hearing from these companies. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not putting out my content correct. I don't know. It's just kind of like a rant out here, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud and giving you all my honest thoughts. But like, I'm not being incentivized to talk about something that I will talk about for free anyways. So this is more so like something that I'm asking you all, like, how can we push the message forward and help out minority communities, specifically Black people, but also our Latino, friends and people from cultures where it's difficult to talk about mental health awareness, like our Asians, anybody, and even the majority, right? Like I said, somebody's white and they struggle with something, I'm going to go all out for them, but mental health awareness is for everybody, but it's not really for everybody until everybody gets a chance, at receiving that care, So this is just kind of like my inner frustrations, trying to figure out like how I can do better, because I know I can do better. There's always a room for improvement, So I love, I love when people are like, "Oh, I like this video, but I think you could do that better." I'm like, that was a negative comment. I just blocked. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna deal with that. But I feel like there's always a chance to do better. So I'm just kind of calling myself out. And Tiffany, yeah, just this live by itself is very helpful. And Melissa says, in the Black community, you get laughed at or punished for it. And I agree. And that's why I'm saying, like, this might be like a Black conversation. It's for everybody. And if you're not Black and you're watching this, like I would love for you to keep watching this, you know. But like this might be like a black conversation, like within our community. Like, why do we shame people who take medications? Why do we put them to the side? You know, why do we make it like a bad thing to take medications, right? You tell somebody, you know, who's taking antidepressant, you're like, oh, that person is why are they taking meds? You know, you take somebody who's taking medication for schizophrenia, you're like, are you crazy or are you hearing voices? You know, ADHD, you're like, oh, you can't focus. Like, you know, knowing that the medications are first line for ADHD, that's the best thing that we have for ADHD. But in the black community, you see a lot of kids ridiculed for having to be pulled out of class to take meds, you know, and not making it okay. These are some of the things that we need to talk about. You know, these are some of the things that we need to talk about. And Gian, yes, uh, yes, and you know, you know, like as I'm talking out loud, my mind is running with all these thoughts. Um, and some I can't say, some you know, I'm telling you all, but I think just by having this live right here, and of course, bringing on guests and having people, and I'm going to start to do that, you know, bring on guests and make this more interactive. And we go live 4 times a week. So, like, this is going to be like a normal thing, like getting to hear um, you know, hear from you all with your feedback and things like that. So this is definitely gonna be something that, you know, we keep doing on a daily basis. But those are my thoughts when it comes to mental health in the Black community. Once again, rest in peace to Chesley Christ, and also I think Regina. I forget the actress's name, but she had a son who passed away by suicide. And you know, it's like a silent crisis, and it's happening in plain sight. But people aren't talking about it in minority communities as much as I would like to see be talked about, right? So hopefully, you know, we can break down the stigma one conversation at a time. I think it's Regina King, yeah. And you know, we have to do our best to help ourselves out. So this lives for everybody, but this might be a bit of a black conversation. Some things that we need to do, but you know, we're gonna need the help of everybody. So those are my thoughts. That's my little rant. And of course, like I've talked to my team about what skits can I throw in to promote, you know, awareness for you know, African Americans, and you know, I'm always looking to help out. Like I might find out about an issue in the Latino community or Latinx. Am I saying that correctly? But I might find out about an issue in the Latinx community, and I come up with an idea, and I might make a video for that. Like I'm not Hispanic, obviously, but I'm always looking to role play and figure out how I can make something creative but also informative. Like that's the key, you know. And somebody saying access, yeah, access to healthcare is very, very, very um, key, and it's hard for people to get access to healthcare, and that's why sometimes it's hard for people to get the help that they need. So those are some of my thoughts. Now let me get to the comment section. Uh, there's a lot of people with great information. Is there posted content? Oh, all right, okay. So this is what we're gonna do. If you're okay, I like this. All right. So if you're a provider of color and you have any type of services, you know, you're seeing patients, you know, go ahead and post information in the comments. And I want everybody to collectively like their comment so that it can push it to the top of the comment section, like on Facebook after this live stream is done. But yes, I would love to build up a there. And I mean, hell, if you're a provider of any kind, you know, so if you're white, Hispanic, but what if you're just anybody who's accepting patients, go ahead and put your information in there because I know it can help out somebody. So this is for everybody. Go ahead and throw your information in there, and I wish there's a way to like pin it or something like that. I don't know how to do that. Actually, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Uh, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna throw my email up. All right, so I'm gonna throw my email up, and it's info. Michelle Brown. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to throw my email up. It's info at kojosarfo.com. KOJOSARFO.com. You should see my name somewhere, regardless of where you're watching at. And go ahead and email me your information. And I'm going to make one big comment here on StreamYard, so that way it's going to go on Facebook. And I'm going to have all your information there, so that way people can reach you all if you're seeing patients or accepting patients. And this is for anybody, yes, Brandy, that's it right there. Brandy Smith, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So go ahead and email me. Uh, yeah, email me your name, credentials, where you practice at, and where you see patients. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna copy all of that, and I'm gonna throw it. Um, Tiana, look at the comment above. Brandy Smith wrote info at coachsoftware.com. Tamaria, there's an R in front of the F. Yeah, Tracy Haskins has it, or Haskins Tracy. Yeah. So go ahead and send me your information. I'll post that as a comment. So that way, hopefully, it will come to the top of the comment section on Facebook Live. I think that could be helpful for a lot of people. So now let's get into the Q&A. Let me hear what people's thoughts are on this topic, and if you have your other questions, go ahead and shoot them at me. But I want to know what people's um, uh, ideas are on this topic. Let me see what people are saying. It's definitely something that, like I said, I haven't talked about it too much, but I definitely want to do my best to kind of get in there. And obviously, like, I just have to keep doing what I'm doing, and you know, just by posting my mental health awareness, I know it's helping somebody out. Let me see. This comment section is on fire today. Normally it's all love, but it, respect, because I'm not able to even see what's going on. Let me see. I do wish there was more information given for teenagers with mental health things going on. My daughter went through a lot. Yeah, Amber, and you know what has been happening, because there isn't a lot of information. I feel like people tend to go to social media for answers, right? It's the same thing as going through a breakup, and then you type into Google, how do I get over my ex, or something like that, right? Now TikTok is a new search engine, so people will go to TikTok and they'll be like, oh damn, my ex left me, and then they type in, how do I get over my ex, blah blah. How do I do blah blah blah, and then you go on TikTok and it opens up a video, and then you're like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So that's why it's helpful to have people on TikTok and IG and Facebook talk about these things. But of course, you got to make it fun. That's the key. You have to make it fun. That's what I've learned. Like, I only watch things that are fun online. Like, there's have to be some element of like entertainment a little bit, And Mary Lou, yeah, if not TikTok, Instagram, or maybe just here on Facebook, that should be good. There seems to be stigma attached to any type of mental health issue. I think this discourages many people against seeking out because they don't want a label. Jennifer, I agree. A lot of people don't want a label because it used to be a label meant that you were crazy, right? But now the game is about to change, because people are speaking out about these things, and people are going to get a diagnosis. And it's impacting friendships, relationships, business relationships. Like, people are more open and vulnerable about what they're going through. So it used to be a time when you you go on a date and you don't really talk about these things, but now people are open about their mental health online, so you can kind of get like a better look at who somebody really is and what they struggle with. I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm a fan of it. Being open and sharing the truth is helping make people understand what's going. I agree. Mental health meds are expensive. Yeah, man. These, yeah, and that's another thing that prevents people from getting care. Like, these meds cost a lot of money. Like, anything, name it. Like, I don't want to single out a specific medication, but a lot of them cost money, and it's hard for people to get meds. So sometimes you might have to like find a workaround, give them the generic or something like that. But they're very expensive. Yes, Brandy, we have to destigmatize therapy in the Black community. Emma, how do I come up? So, Emma, I think I spoke about that on last week's live. It's hard to tell somebody, um, oh, like, that you're dating. Oh, I think you have signs of ADHD. But I think it'd be helpful to maybe sit them down and say, hey, I watched this video, and I think you might be able to connect with it. Maybe watch it and let me know what you think of it. But that's depending on your relationship with that person, how open they are to like hearing things. Yeah, Marilu, I'm sorry, they're expensive. I'm taking 3 meds. Only one is about, yeah, expensive. Counseling and therapy costs a lot of money. Keep in mind, this is also why sometimes people might resort to drinking or something like that because, how much is Hennessy versus, you know, 6 sessions with a therapist? Like you really have to like put I have to put myself in the mind of like a patient or somebody, struggling with substance use and figure out like, okay, well, if I was in that situation, would I be acting any differently? And then, that should help you to have a little bit more empathy. Um, in Canada, yeah, Jamie, it's a different ball game here in the U.S. It's a different ball game here in the U.S. Let me see. I'm going to my info email. Let me see people's information. Got it. Okay, so I got Tiffany's email, and I'll wait to see if I get anybody else's, or else I might just post Tiffany's information. All right. Um, Nicole says, I think a big part of the problem is the stigma of speaking about one's feelings to a professional or anyone really, especially if you're male. Yes, Nicole, I agree with that. And it wasn't until like the last couple of years that me and my guy friends were being more open about like what we're struggling with, what we're working on, how we want to improve, because we used to not have that safe space to talk about it. So within like, our world as men, a lot of things are changing, and it's encouraging to see men go out and get professional help, because we used to have to be gladiators and just kind of pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But now like we're able to understand, okay, there are things that I can do, and at least in my situation, right, I can go find a doctor, right? Like in grad school, I can go find a doctor and go get help for my ADHD, right? I don't have to like sit here and figure it out on my own. Like there are professionals who went to school to do a certain thing that will help you out. It's kind of like a mind blowing epiphany once you realize it. Um, and let me see. It only makes them feel. Oh yeah, Ashley, what's up? And you might be talking about like the substance use. I had an African American provider who helped me encourage. Millette Smith. So Millette will get a love of the show. I give you a love of the show. I had an African American provider who helped encourage me to pursue my own degree in mental health. Perspective into the culture of others is essential, and the Black community is desperate need of positive leadership. Kudos, you're paving way for so many. Millette, I appreciate that. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And those comments, like I said, those comments keep me going. And somebody DM'd me on IG the other day. I think it was like 2 days ago, and he said that he had ADHD and he really enjoys the tips that I post online. And then I don't know if y'all can even see this. Let me see if y'all can see this. Y'all see that? No, it's showing up backwards. Either way, I made his DM my Spring Saver. He says, "You really changed the game, dog." I said, "I appreciate you, fam. That means a lot." So it's good to hear that. It makes me feel like, like the work that I'm doing, like we're getting somewhere with it. And I know, like I see the followers, so I know like I'm doing something. But sometimes it just helps to hear it. So Millette, thank you. You get I love the show for that. And Ashley says so. Yeah. Substance use can make the condition worse, but like initially, like it is like a band-aid for the pain. Um, and Jen, substance use and ADHD. That's one of the reasons why I think it's important to treat the ADHD, because substance use could be one of the things that happens when you don't treat it. Let me get some more of these comments. Own your now show. Please send an email to my assistant. It's assistant@coachofsoftware.com, and maybe I'll get a chance to go on there. The sooner you send it, the sooner we can try and work that out on the schedule. It's Shauna Love. I appreciate you. I'm looking through the comments right there. I really, really uh, appreciate you. And it looks like, look, I don't know what was going on earlier in the show where somebody was saying like racist comments or something like that. I don't know what was going on. It's always like a toss up when you talk about topics like this. Like this is not going to be a popular topic. Like I just know like every content creator has their their topics that they posted about that they know is not going to be the most popular, right? So like if I post about something that is like for minorities, minority mental health, it's not going to get like a lot of likes and views and shares. So I'm not posting it for that, but I'm posting it because it will reach that target audience and it can help them out. And I'm going to post all the content. Like I'm going to post content for everybody, but when I post that specific piece of content, like it's going to reach a target audience, but it won't necessarily go viral. That video, I don't expect it to get a million views, and you know, it's sometimes people can't grasp the concept of the fact that people of color have more barriers to care, but all you can do is just educate them, and like I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Just gonna do the best that I can. Peter, because society's expectations and traditional gender roles, in addition, gender stereotypes. Oh, Peter, you're saying gender stereotypes impact mental health in minority communities? I would agree with that. I would really, really agree with that. I would really agree with that. And um, so Peter also gets to love the show. Shout out to Peter on LinkedIn. Yeah, we got Peter checking in from LinkedIn. It's good to know that I got a community on LinkedIn. Peter gets to love the show. I'm gonna read his comment. I'm out of water. Sure, got 2 bottles. But Peter says, what did Peter say? Men are oftentimes damaged by these stereotypes and expectations. Their coping mechanism is often alcohol and drugs, and I've seen that so many times where like a guy will be going through something, right? It could be something like an issue of his workplace, his boss is cutting his hours or something like that, or he's going home and his old lady is arguing and nagging with him, and he doesn't have anybody to talk to. So a lot of times people are just like, man, screw this. I'm just gonna go, grab a couple of drinks and I'll just chill for the night, instead of like talking to somebody. But I think that's something that I see a lot in our community. And men definitely need a safe space. Men definitely need a safe space, and it's something that I like. And I have a bit of an advantage because like I work in this field, and also by doing social media full time, like I see comments and feedback from people, so I kind of get like a wide look at what's going on in people's lives just by reading comments, and I know that it's a big issue. Um, so like for me in my personal life, like I make sure I stay around the most supportive people. Like it's a deal breaker for me. Like to be like one of my friends right now, like in my personal life, it's a deal breaker for you to not believe in me. It's a deal breaker for you to not listen to me, or at least allow me to be able to talk and like get my feelings out. And like I don't use my friends as therapists, right? But it's good to be able to at least speak up and say, hey, this is on my mind, that's on my mind. But if I'm able to like talk to my friends, deal breaker. If they don't believe in me and want to see me do good, deal breaker. Same thing for like relationships. Those things would be deal breakers. So don't believe in me, deal breaker. Don't give me a safe space to talk and be like a regular human being, deal breaker. I think more people should have those deal breakers with friendships or with work relationships from the get go. But I don't think we've done that well in our community because, like we saw our uncles and our dads is kind of like, this kind of like they would have to do it and took care of their families. So we don't talk about it enough in our, environments. How do we get more counselors in schools? I don't know how we would do that. I would say we should pay them more. I think that teachers and counselors are criminally underpaid. Once again, give them the bag. Like literally, give like you're paying money to research penguins. I don't know. I don't know. Pay teachers more. Pay counselors more. Like sometimes it's as simple as give people more money. And like just give people more money. Like for the hard work that they do. Social workers criminally underpaid. Give them more money. Like I don't know what else to say. Like give them more money outside of that. I love when you post positive attributes to people with mental. Mary Lou, I appreciate that. I'll keep that as I make more content. Yeah, Tamaria or Tamaria. That's a nice name. But yeah, huge deal breaker. Huge deal breaker. I get really triggered by people who don't listen or who interrupt me when I'm talking, especially about something that matters to me. Jamie, yeah, I completely agree. And in that situation, it's good to let somebody know, like if it's your homeboy, like, hey, we're cool, like you're my guy, but like when you cut me off, like it makes me feel like you're not trying to listen to me. Something as simple as that is good to speak up about these things, so that way you don't get you know either burnt out or you have that resentment for them. So I think it's very important to speak out about that. Healthy boundaries. And I posted a video about boundaries, but like I could have like a whole nother um show on boundaries. Like there's so many ways to tell people, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that. That's something that we can work on and in the black community, but actually anybody can work on that. Like that I take that back. That's an everybody thing. Working on healthy boundaries. Tracy, no, thank you for having me. Thank you for checking in from LinkedIn. Uh, it's so tight for people to check in from LinkedIn. I love that. I'm a school counselor at a school for emotional behavioral disorder. It's competitive, and yes, we aren't paid anything. Katie, yes. See, I I was so last year December time. For some reason, I just put out a poll on Instagram, and I was like, if I ran for governor of California, and I'm not running this, I'm not running. Please don't think that. But I was curious. Now like I have a publicist, so I know not to say those things out loud or to post it on social media. But I just got curious for a second. I'm like, if I was running for like governor of some state, like what would I do? And of course I know maybe the people in office wanted to do these things and they probably couldn't do it when they got in, checks and balances, blah blah blah. But if I had any power over anything, even without being in office, like I would pay counselors more. Like anytime, like we're in a whole mental health crisis. Like I would really pay people who work in the mental health field way more. And even for me, like working, with my DNP back in Virginia, like I was making really good money, more money than I'd ever made in my life. So like I was living good. It wasn't California, so it wasn't expensive. So I was living really good, and I had like more money than I ever had, but I was still getting burnt out. And I eventually left that job and took a pay cut to do social media because this is my passion. So imagine, if I was being paid like a fraction of that, and I was a counselor or something like that. I just think that counselors and anybody who works in mental health should be paid way more. It might doesn't solve everything, but it at least shows that we appreciate the people who are doing the work that they're doing because we don't want them to stop, right? Like now we don't need a shortage of counselors, not in 2022, not in 2022 at all. Angela says, "Can you do a lot for healthcare workers and mental health?" Ooh, Mickey Ficky, that's a good idea. That's a good idea right there. Uh, Angela also gets a love of the show. That's a good idea right there. Let me send a message to my assistant. And I can do this live because my show is very informal. I came up with the show, so I can do whatever. Alessia says we're all burnt out at this point. Yeah, I'm telling you all, like you all see me. I'm here on social media. I'm having a good time. I'm smiling. I'm happy. But December 2020, I was burnt out. Like I really didn't care about the money I was making. I was like, I'm done. Like I was done. Like burnt. Like I paid $4,000 to break my lease to move to California. And California's expensive, but I paid the money. I broke my lease. I moved to California, and I got to California, and I was like in the warm weather on the beach, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is so good! Like life is so good!" Like that was the first time I hadn't had patience for the longest. Like I just got to breathe. But like obviously, like I had been preparing for like an exit into social media for a while now. So like I knew to save money and all that stuff. But for somebody who they just got into a job and that or maybe they have kids. Fortunately, like I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids, so I was very fortunate in that in the regard. If I had, a wife and kids, I probably wouldn't have made that impulsive decision to go because I got people depending on me. So, fortunately, things kind of worked out for me. But burnout is not a good taste. And when it's time to go, it's time to go. But people might be stuck. And in this country, at least for those of y'all who are watching in the States, our employment for the most part is tied to our healthcare. So it's like, are you gonna quit and leave your healthcare? So it's like the worst catch 22 of all time. Let me send a message. Hey John, I'm doing my live right now, and I'm getting some good feedback. I'm getting some good feedback on some topic ideas. So can you just spit out a couple of possible topic ideas for the show, starting tomorrow? But when you make the list and put on a daily report, can you include? Let me see what they said. Can you include mental health for healthcare workers? I think that's a pretty dope topic. I think we could definitely shed light on that because like I got my story, and people are giving feedback on that. So just let me know. Put down on the daily report, and also give me some more topics. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Define burnout. So think of burnout as a kissing cousin to depression, like a loss of interest, a loss of desire for life. And not that you're suicidal, but like that enthusiasm that you have. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're not like excited, you know, that could be an indicator. You might isolate yourself, you might withdraw yourself from people, you might be more irritable than usual. Like that's what I've seen. And everything takes much longer to do. It takes more out of you to do simple things. That's how I realized that I was getting burnt out. Because like if I was talking to my patient at work, I would never like snap on them because like I gotta be professional. But you might snap on like your mom or like your girlfriend or your brother or your partner at the gym playing basketball. And he missed a free throw, something small. But those are some of the things that could kind of like cue you to burnout. Yeah, burnout is ADHD and abusive relationships. Jamie, I like that one. Um, and I don't know if I can put the title as abusive relationships. You get flagged for a lot of things nowadays, but I do like that topic because I think you can be at risk of being in an abusive relationship, or you might have a hard time leaving with ADHD. That's a really good topic, Jamie. I like that. What to expect and how to utilize therapy. I like that one too. I like that too. Not different therapists are different, but that's a good topic. Let them know. My son relocated from Texas to Seattle for his mental health. Yeah, sometimes you have to make those moves, right? Obviously, the California thing was premeditated for me. Like I just wanted to get to LA for whatever reason. Um, our diet plays a part. Me, our yeah. So I think our diet, yeah, like diet could play a part in worsening of mental health for minorities, right? Because as we know, like the things that you put in your body, they do affect how you feel about yourself. And we're gonna have a live one day. I told y'all I'm gonna bring some of my friends out here, probably sooner than later, because I want to talk about it. Dr. Uma Naidu and Dr. Drew Ramsey, both of them are nutritional psychiatrists, and they talk about how to structure your diet. Especially if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, or ADHD. There's certain foods that you might want to avoid, and certain things that you might want to like keep an eye on. Like those are good things to eat. And in our community, right? Sometimes we're not mindful of that, or sometimes you might be so stressed, working multiple jobs, trying to take care of the kids. They don't have time to sit there and buy the best food, and like the healthiest food and organic food like that. It's expensive, so sometimes you reach for what's convenient. So those are all things that kind of make it a little harder for ourselves. um uh it's true, women working has had an impressive sociological impact. No longer serves as families executive functioning, laying out clothes, organizing everything in the household to the advantage of the spouse and children. My mother-in-law was still doing those things for my father-in-law. It definitely changed a lot in the dynamic of the family. This really play words for those who are already fighting. Oh, Eva. Okay, wow. Eva, wow, wow. I I think there's something to be said about women working. Now is it's funny because I think women still struggle with so much, right? Um, you know, women can be victims of verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and so much more. Sexism in the workplace. So women are still struggling with a lot. But at the same time, and this is just my opinion, I'm a man, so like, who am I to talk about anything, right? Just want to put that out there. At the same time, this appears to be the most liberated that women have ever been. Like women are killing it. Like women are vice presidents, mayors, running Fortune 500 companies. Women are doing amazing things like never before. So in a way, this is the best time to be a woman because of like how things have evolved in healthcare and all these different things. But it can still be difficult to be a lady, So we do have to protect women and do everything that we can as men. But women working has definitely changed the dynamic of the everyday family. And there's no right or wrong way, Like you said, your mother-in-law did things one way, and you think, you did things another way. So there's no right or wrong way. I think it's more so figuring out like what will work for you, right? So what will work for you and your spouse. So like me and if I get married one day, what will work for me and my spouse, like does she want to like work or something like that, or you know probably won't need to work, but like I don't like whatever is her thing to do. She should pursue that, right? She shouldn't just stop because I said so. Nicole, so sorry for your loss. So sorry for your loss, and grief is definitely one thing that has been heavy on my mind in this pandemic. So many people have lost somebody close to them, and we'll definitely have a segment on that. I lost my mom. Oh, Jennifer, so sorry to hear that on your end as well. Very sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's been tough the past couple of years. Let me see. Tiona, love this. Appreciate that. Helen from Canada, your videos have helped me tons in the short time since you popped up on my TikTok. Shelby Dale, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Positive people that have ADHD. Oh, okay. Jan Brown. That's a good topic. How do we change the mindset by mental health for the youth in the black community? They're our future. Angela, we just need somebody who's cool enough to do it, honestly. I think that I need a I think that I need to release a rap song with Gunna. That's my idea. That's my dry right there. I memorized it, but I think I need to release a rap song with Gunna, or I might need to work with Lil Baby or Young Boy, or I think I have to get into the rap game. I think that's what I have to do. I have that's my last resort. But I mean, I already have one song that has been featured in the article. So I need to get into the rap game, and you just have to make it cool. Just make it cool, kind of like what Michael Jordan did for kids in the '90s. Maybe we can do that with mental health, but we don't have to beat people over the head with mental health, right? We can find interesting topics. Like I believe you can make it fun. Like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be like, hey guys, so how are y'all feeling? Like I wouldn't even watch that. Like I only watch things that are like interesting for me, things that are captivating. So this gotta be a way to make it. Hey, drop the beat. This is drop the beat. Summer Chicago. Yeah, really. I'm telling you. I went to for the song that my brother and I did. Happiness looks good on you. It has a couple of views on YouTube, and I posted on Facebook, and it was featured in an article on Cosmopolitan, which is pretty cool. And we shot the music video at San Monica Pier. I went to the studio to record it, and when I went into the studio to record it, you go and you walk to the left, and then you see like a little plaque. It says Kelly Clarkson's greatest hits. like I was starting to feel like low key famous. I'm like, okay, I'm out here in the same recording studio that Kelly Clarkson was in. Like I'm out here making these hits. So I think there's something to be said about that. Like, you know, probably and maybe even myself included, maybe the videos that we're putting out are just too corny for the kids. I don't know. I mean, if somebody said that doesn't hurt my feelings, I'm still gonna post the corny videos, but you know, it can get better over time, right? So I gotta I gotta work. I gotta work with that. I gotta work with that. Uh, where to find good therapists for children? Ah, I mean, where I would start is like Psychology Today, and then I would look for different providers. Like, let's say you found somebody, right? John Doe, Doctor John Doe in Texas, right? What I would do is I would like look at John Doe's page on Psychology Today. I would Google John Doe. Like literally, I would find as much information about this person as possible. See how they think, what's their philosophy, what type of ages they see, what type of conditions they're good at, and then give the person a chance. But like I would try and pick up as much info as possible. Nikki, what's up? What's up? Lepre, Lepre, you're gonna find out. Find out soon. I got bars. Why are more? Levy Delala, I don't know if you're looking in the wrong places. It's hard. It's hard, And I used to think to myself, I'm like, why aren't people getting this? Because like I've made millions, well, not millions. Okay, I take that back. I made a lot of videos talking about how to start, or like I've answered some of these questions already, but I don't get irritated because I know that we work on an algorithm in social media. So if I put out a video on OCD on Monday, and on Wednesday somebody jumps in the live and they're like, hey, do you ever post content about OCD? It's not their fault. The algorithm just maybe didn't put that on their page. So it's not their fault. It's just not like in their space for them to see it. So it's something that I don't know why. Well, I could post more about certain things, but sometimes it is an algorithm type of thing. Case for something new, fat. Cassie. Oh boy, yeah. I can spit a couple of things. I gotta, yeah. I actually want to get back in the studio. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I want to get back in the studio. Um, Accepting. It's funny because I was talking to my brother about that today, and he's a musician. He's 16, so all I gotta do is say the word, and he'll have a beat from me. So I'm looking for beats. I'm good dropping some of the therapists accepting patients right now. So we have Tiffany Hall. She's accepting patients in North Carolina. I'm gonna drop that right there. And let me see. I can't find any other. Oh, so it was just Tiffany. All right, so Tiffany gets a love of the show, and I'm gonna drop her information in there. Let go. Let's see. Okay, boom. All right. My brother makes amazing beats. Yeah, hey, Cassie, feel free to send beats to my email, info or at codersoffer.com or assistant at codersoffer.com. Like I want to see what beats y'all have. If a beat's like stupid and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta hop on this, I'll send it to my brother. I'll let him know. Can you ask something now, please? Cassie, you gotta give me some time. You put me on the spot. But let me get some raps out. Let me get some raps out. Oh boy, the Boris Foundation. Okay, that's another one. Gianna, I'm happy that the videos can help out. Just promise you won't get too famous and leave us. Tiona, what do you mean leave you all? I'm here. I'm here to stay. I'm doing what I love. So I'm not going anywhere. The platform is here. We're on Facebook. We're having fun. Facebook and friends. We're having fun. But I don't know what's next for me. Like every day is something different. So obviously, like if some project or something happened and that took my attention, my first priority is like my patients, like because like that's not like a game. It's like that's like real life. And after that is my patients, and then my online community. So I love y'all, but like if I have to like divert and work on some Hollywood project, like I gotta get my patients straightened out first, and then like I still have y'all, and I have fun. Like I look forward to coming on here. Like this is actually something I look forward to, So I'm not going nowhere. Let me see. As a spouse to someone with ADHD, I never really understanding it. You educated me more than the doctors treating my spouse. So thank you. Candace, you get love of the show. I appreciate you. And yeah, I don't know. Well, I do know. I think the 8-second videos do a lot, right? Because in 8 seconds, you can watch like, well, in a minute, you can watch like 7 videos and learn. Like in 1 minute, you can become like very familiar with like a certain topic or ADHD. Whereas like you used to have to watch like, I don't know, like a 45-minute YouTube video or talk to doctors who you might not be comfortable talking to. So, Candace, you get love of the show. I'm happy that I can help out. Jill Baker, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Crystal, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And like literally, I wish I could hire like more assistants to really just go through the DMs and read them, because I'm like, I never thought that. I don't know. I just never saw myself as like as this. Like I knew I wanted to come to LA and do something, but I never saw it as like, or I didn't know how life would be with like tons of followers and stuff. So like I never had a game plan for looking through messages. I used to get back to all the messages, but obviously I can't now. But I wish I could just kind of like look at all of them. Like it's like I love going through the messages. I really appreciate you all. No one cares. I have no voice in my house or friends and family. Jonette. All right, so what could be helpful? Obviously the answer is always professional help. Y'all know that. Just getting that out there. But sometimes finding a person online that you like can be very helpful. And like maybe following that person, like maybe I'm that person for you, I don't know. Or maybe watching, sometimes people like to watch like a certain person's vlogs on YouTube, and that person gives them hope or joy, but the thing that you don't want to do is lose hope, because you don't want to be, sometimes helplessness turns into hopelessness, and then there's like a dark hole from there. So you don't want to lose hope, but sometimes having somebody online that you like could provide hope, because you could like see, okay, this person's doing that, and then it inspires me, not to turn into like a whole parasocial type of thing where like you look up to this person and they're like God to you, like they're just regular, or we're just regular people, so it's just we happen to have like a lot of followers. Free tuition for mental health. I don't understand what you mean by that. Does it make much of a difference to be diagnosed or not when it comes to ADHD and being 30 and older? I think it's worth it to pursue a diagnosis, only because, well, not only, but like it helps to put a why to things. Like as humans, you want to like make sense of everything. Like, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Blah blah blah. And like let's say you're 31 or something, and you get diagnosed with ADHD, Shelby, then hopefully you have a boss who's understanding, and your boss is like, okay, like I know you have something going on, so I know you're not being late on purpose, right? Or if you're in a relationship, your husband or your boyfriend's like, oh, okay, I get it, I'm gonna help you out, versus thinking that you're trying to be late on purpose, or they might be like, oh, she out cheating, or people try to fill in the gaps when they don't know what's going on. So I think it can be helpful. Lima from R. Miranda's the OG. Miranda's on Twitch. Miranda, I've not heard of Lima before. I was told I was just lazy. Yeah, Katie. Once again, that's why it's so helpful to pursue that diagnosis, in my opinion. Like I know I don't have all the answers, right? But like I think it'd be helpful to, pursue it. Mary, I agree. We're all just like regular people. We're all just regular people. Focus on being loved. Oh, Mary, I appreciate that. Yeah, and you're right. And that's all I can do. I can just look at like if I open up my DMs before I go to sleep, the most recent person who DM me is gonna pop up. I'll click it and look at it and say, okay, this is cool. I might not get to like all the other ones, but like I've come to terms with the fact that that's just how social media works, and it's not really healthy for one person to try and read all that. But like I do appreciate all the love. I think it's great. Those short videos are perfect. Yes. So Mickey, there's something to be said about that. Uh, I think the short videos, like, and the reason I'm not sure, but I feel like the ADHD community is probably the best community to appreciate those videos because you get right to it, you know. And there's a guy I like on TikTok. His his name is Time Saver 9000, right? So he'll stitch a video where he'll like it'll be like a 3 minute video of somebody explaining the story. I can't watch a 3 minute video. Like the way my ADHD is set up, like I can't watch it. Like I can give you maybe 12 seconds. But I'm not gonna watch a 3 minute video on TikTok. Like maybe on YouTube, but 3 minute video is like I'm trying to scroll past it. So this guy called Time Saver 9000, he'll stitch a video and he'll say, all right, so what happened was this girl went to school and she found this life for part two, so you never have to watch the whole video again. He explains the whole video in like 8 seconds. And that's why I follow him because I'm like, I'm a big fan of Time Saver 9000. Like I wish I could meet him one day because like he makes it so easy to get to the information without having to watch the whole. Like he saved me 3 minutes per video, you know. Jeanette, take it. Thank you for joining, Jeanette. And Katie, I appreciate you too. Yeah, this is a very positive thread. I think we had a couple of hiccups in the beginning, but you know, anytime people are exposed to something that they're not used to, like minority mental health, you know, you might have some, you know, resistance. But I mean, you get that in the beginning when you talk about something new. So I'm sure when people first start talking about ADHD online, there was resistance. So hopefully that's how it is with minority mental health. I appreciate that. Eva, I completely agree. I need to set an alarm to remind me of what time to catch your lives. Yeah, Janet, we go live 9 on the East Coast every day, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Today's was late though. Today's was a little bit late. My schedule was a little bit wacky today, so I was actually seeing my last patient of the day later in the day, later than normal. So that was why my live today was pushed back. That's why it was pushed back. Time Saver 9000. Right. It's like Cliff Notes. Like it gets right to the point. I don't want to listen to a whole story. Not that I don't. Well, yeah. No, it is that. I just don't have that attention span for a whole story. Jeanette, I appreciate that. Okay, Nathan Payne. Shout out to Nathan Payne. Jennifer says that's been helpful. And okay, Jill, I'll speak about that real quick. ADD is what we refer to as an inattentive type of ADHD. So it was like a term more used like maybe back in the 90s or so. Now we just have it all under the umbrella of ADHD. Jamie, I actually have a video on that about why women or AFAB have a harder time being diagnosed with ADHD. But I sometimes I feel like I've already posted about all the women with ADHD content, but apparently not. Like, I don't know. Is it still like a demand to know more about women with ADHD? Because if so, I'll make the content. I'll crank it out. I'm always looking for, and that's one thing that the DMs do let me know. Like the DMs, like if let's say I check my DMs after I get off of here, and 7 people DM'd about women with ADHD. I'm like, all right, it's time to get creative again. I gotta, because people are still asking the question. So, I gotta. Brandon, I was taking people in Arizona, but I scaled back. But actually, Brianna, I got a good friend of mine. Let me drop that in. How do you reply? Shoot. So it won't let me reply to your comment. It's only giving me the option to delete the comment or block you. And you're not a bad person. I ain't gonna block you. So Brianna, my good friend, I'll go ahead and drop him here in the chat. Dr. Devin Dunatar. I'm not trying to pronounce his name all the way. But he's a psychiatrist in Arizona. I've been referring a lot of my people his way. He's a great guy. He's just a good ass guy, good family man, great psychiatrist, a good listener. Those are things that I think would make for a good provider. Autism. Okay, I could look into that. And yes, Miranda, we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So we're live on 5 different platforms. Yeah, 5 different platforms. It really. Oh, Jill, I'm happy you like the reels. I appreciate that. I put a lot of time into figuring out how to put the reels out, what people want, blah blah. So yeah, I'm gonna yeah, it's all about evolution. Like I want the content to get better. Like I want it to get better. I got 4 different cameras in my house, including this one pointing back at me. Not that we need to get fancy or whatever, but I'm always looking on how to make the content a little bit better. You need just you need just to convince African men they need therapy. Yeah, see, I grew up in an African household. It's just something that we didn't talk about. Like it wasn't until like I'm just being honest. Like it wasn't until I grew up and like I started seeing like my white friends talk about like therapy and medications. I was like, what type of world are y'all living in? Y'all like getting meds? Y'all going to therapy? Because like coming from where I come from, we just didn't do that. we just didn't do that. Malik, I appreciate you. Eastern Washington. I don't know anybody in Eastern Washington. No, Eastern Washington. Bipolar, OCD, paranoia. Okay, some real good topics. It wasn't okay. Yeah. My little bro. 1 second. Hey, what's good, bro? I'm on live. But before you go, I'm on live, and somebody was saying that I need to drop some more music. I need to drop some more music. Yeah, because we're talking about the topic is mental health in the black community, and I told him that I need to drop a song with Gunna. Yeah, I'm about to DM him. I got a blue check. I might could DM him. His promotion manager. They'll see it on Gmail. Okay. No. The best way is to DM him because I'm verified, so I can probably reach him that way. Do it for. All right. Remind me like in an hour or so. I'll DM Gunna. Call me after you get off the line. All right, bet. I heard, bro. I'll let you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm about to DM Gunna. We'll see. I'll come out to Atlanta and we can work on a music project. What's the reason you got into the field? Actually, I got into the mental health space because the hospital that I took a job at was going to help me pay off my student loans. So I really got in for financial reasons, and I ended up liking it. Starts at 9. Yeah, Jeanette, you must be in Central Time. Yeah, so this live will start Central Time, 8 o'clock Central Time, which is your time, Monday through Thursday. Let me see. African culture and therapy. Yeah, all we do is talk about it and hopefully inspire our parents. But keep in mind, our parents, they're doing the best with the information that they have. Like my parents came from West Africa, and there wasn't any, back in the day, there wasn't like social media like this. Nobody was talking about this stuff. So there was no mental health expert. There was no counselor. I'm sure they had counselors back in Ghana and Africa back in the 70s and 60s. But or 80s, but it wasn't like it is now. And even now, I'm sure we're behind. So yeah, I mean, my parents did the best with the information that they had at the moment, so I don't really judge them. But now that we know more, you kind of like poking and prodding, trying to like get them to understand, where I'm coming from with a couple of topics. Brittany from Louisiana, what's going on? What's going on? We turn how does young and shit? Yeah. That's the thing, Angela, and that's that's one of the issues with how you put the information out nowadays, right? It's not the fact that your information is bad, right? There's a lot of mental health professionals who put out great information, and I watch it, but you have to speak the language of the people who can make the content viral. So I always aim to make my content as simple as possible. Like I want anybody to understand it. So I don't like to use big words. Like if I'm trying to say comorbidities, I'll say, co-occurring conditions or conditions that you may also have with ADHD or whatever the topic is, or things that people of color might struggle with as well. Things that women with ADHD might like. I try and make it super simple because I'm always I make my content as if I'm talking to somebody who's in like seventh or eighth grade. Like it needs to be like very easy to understand, and I feel like the majority of my followers all across social media are probably like 14 to 20, I would say. It's different on Facebook. It's a third of my followers are women, 25 to 34. But for the most part, it's like it's the teens. It's the teens. If you can get to them, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. Uh, Mark, I appreciate you. Mark from Wisconsin. Thank you, my guy. Thank you very much. I know it's cold out there. I would imagine it's cold. Please stay warm out there. My African family in the north. Okay. And I'm substance use counselor. Oh, Araya, thank you for sharing. I like that. I like that. My Latin family considered being possessed. Yeah, yeah. That's what you used to hear back in the day. My grandma would say that, like back in Ghana in the 50s and 60s, she would say that like if anybody was like somebody who was schizophrenic back then, you would have thought that they were like the witch doctor cast a spell on them. Like that's how we used to think back in Africa back in the day. Jalissa, thank you so much. I love Wisconsin back. I've never been to Wisconsin. Hopefully, I can come out there one day. Never been there though. There's a huge mistrust in the medical system in America. I agree. There definitely is a huge mistrust of the medical system in America. And there's nothing wrong with not trusting the system, but I always, encourage people, especially minorities, to, maybe find a medical expert who looks like them and fact check it with them if they're more comfortable going with that route. Sharon, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Zao Cashco, I appreciate you. Okay, let me see. Can you other areas of treatment? So, Kyle, I've spoken about that a little bit, but I think I could talk more about non-medication, non-counseling things for ADHD. But the first thing that comes to mind, are things like exercise and lifestyle modifications as it like relates to like food choices. And like also just getting to sleep at a decent time that can be very helpful. And like it's kind of ironic because this is called Late Night with Dr. Kojo, and I come out here late. I know it's like almost midnight on the East Coast, but keep in mind you all can watch these lives after the fact. You can watch it the next day on Facebook. Just that it won't be live. But I definitely want y'all to have like somewhat of a normal, sleep cycle. But that's ironic. I always think about that when I come on live. I'm out here, I'm clapping, I'm having a good time, and people should be winding down. That's ironic. Various again, Black families on ADHD diagnosis multifaceted, getting tested, school access to psychiatry, insurance coverages, waiting lists in schools, racism, biases of doctors, and then warranted distrust of those families. The list is long. Yeah, everything Eva said, I agree with. The podcast is on the Chad website, Chad Black History Month. I wish I could copy that. But Eva, you also get a love of the show. I completely agree with that. This is what makes it difficult for Black families and kids and those families to get the care that they need. And as somebody who grew up with ADHD, like after, well, my experience, not only do I advocate for Black people, I advocate for anybody who was like suffering with something that they're like, I wish I could get this checked out. Like, we're on the same team here. We are on the same team. Alicia says you're worth staying up late for. Alicia, I appreciate that. You also get a love of the show. I'm just giving out loves of the show. And Miranda, I was trying to like copy it and put it back in the comments. I couldn't quite do that. All right, but it's been about 90 minutes. It's been about 90 minutes, so I'd say the show is about done for today. It's great to be able to talk about this. I know this is not the most, I'm not sure the demographics of my following. Like, I can't tell how many Black people follow me, how many white, but that's not even something I'm concerned about. I'm just happy to have this following, and I'm just happy to be able to have you all's attention so I can talk about these important topics. And even though the topic today was mental health for minorities, this is information that it can help out anybody. But we need to talk about it regardless. And I think we need to make it more fun. We need to make mental health less corny. And we need to make it relatable, and hopefully it can reach the people that need to hear about this. So once again, it was definitely tragic to lose Chesley Christ, who passed away by suicide yesterday. And these are things that we need to talk about in our community. And the more we talk about it, we realize that it's not such a bad thing to talk about. And for the majority of people who are mental health professionals, it's kind of weird talking about suicide. Not me, because like I do it for a living. So, and then for years I would ask people like, any thoughts of hurting yourself or other people, or but for the average person, it's like a really weird topic. It's like, I ain't trying to talk about this. But actually talking about it can help somebody who has those thoughts. So just keep those things in mind. And also for me, I'm just gonna keep posting this content, even if I'm not talking specifically about mental health for Black people. It's helping out Black people, I guess, to see me in this position. And even if it's not helping out Black people, if it's helping out somebody, like I post for somebody to get it. So, this is a community where I want everybody to feel included, regardless of your race or your pronouns or however you identify. I can't even keep up with all the different, ways that people identify. But whatever you identify as, I respect it out here. It needs to be a safe space where you can just really be who you want to be, right? Be what you want to be, and do what you want to do, provided that you're not like hurting other people, and what's up with that. And Jeanette, I want you to go back and check out last week's live. We talked about ADHD and sex drive and hypersexuality specifically. So definitely, Jeanette, I want you to check out last week's live. That was a really good and interesting topic, like hypersexuality and ADHD. I think we touched on a lot of really, really good points. And that. And Jen, I appreciate you. Yeah. Now it's time for me to go hard and grind, and I'm able to do this. Maybe it's because I don't have kids and I'm not married or whatever. But right now that I got the time and the energy, I'm definitely going to go and go all in on this and keep posting and keep, finding new ways to get this content out to you. So like I said, we're having fun, and we're just going to keep putting the content out. And I'll see you all tomorrow, 6 p.m. for my people in California, 9 p.m. for my people on the East Coast. I think that's 2 a.m. and for those of y'all in the UK, I'm not sure. But just keep it simple. 6 in California out here, 9 in New York or, Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Florida. But until tomorrow, you all take care, and I can't wait to be back and talk to you all at that time. Peace.